everyone, my name is Teju and I lead the product marketing team here at Veza. And in today's video, we're going to cover Veza, the authorization platform for data, in 4 minutes. When we take a look at how enterprises have changed over the past decade plus, there's really two big trends in enterprise security where data and identity have changed forever. The first is that data is reconstructed for the cloud, and the second is that identity has truly taken on a new definition. Now, resources like apps and infrastructure have already moved to the cloud, and data is now in that same renaissance phase. But it's not just data that's moving to the cloud. It's really that data is regarded as the lifeblood for so many organizations, and as a result, is being reconstructed to meet that cloud scale. What this means for organizations is that you need to keep your data secure at scale. And by scale, we mean the scale of this multi-cloud era. But that's tough to do when identity and access controls are disconnected. And until you really connect data and identity, you can't secure enterprise data. Now, answering this question of who can and take what action on what data is rooted in authorization. Even with a number of data security tools in place and so much innovation across infrastructure, identities, and cloud applications, businesses are still not able to answer this one critical question, again, of who can and should take action on what data. So Tarun, with that level set, why don't you walk us through how Veza's authorization platform works in an enterprise ecosystem?
Awesome. Thank you, Teju. With that context, really, when we founded the company, was really those two forces, as Teju said. Identity has changed forever. We're never going back to the world of only human identities. And number two, the data layer is fundamentally going through an architectural shift. But you also realize that the world of data sits very, very much still on the on-prem world for enterprise organizations. And there are the most important pillars of our product or a platform is one, how do you organize the data? And number two, how do you realize it so that products can be built on top of it? And that essentially led to, organizations will have many, many systems. Some may have 5, some may have 50, from a simplistic application like a GitHub to a Salesforce.com to systems like SharePoint, unstructured systems like SharePoint, to advanced systems like Snowflake and Databricks, right? And so essentially what Veza does is brings all of this metadata together and organizing that data in an object model and realizing it in an authorization graph. And then essentially what we built is 2 products on top of it. One, real-time search engine. You can actually perform a search. What does Teju has access to in an organization X? And number 2, we built a product called Workflows, which is all in this notion of called lifecycle. Who gets access to what? Should they still have the access called access certifications and access reviews to access removal and so on and so forth. It's a very, very beautiful product, which really is built for those security assurance and security engineering and identity teams. Which takes me to the last part, which is the product is applicable. The applicability of the product to business processes and business needs is essentially comes down to these 4. Number 1, that we see repeatable across our customer. Number 1, everything to do with protecting the modern repositories of SharePoint in the cloud, the Snowflake in the cloud, to Databricks in the cloud, and so on and so forth. Number 2, everything to do with, as Teju said, data is reconstructed. We don't live in the world of only Oracle. We live in multitude of that environment as far as an organization is concerned. Could we build all entitlements into a searchable control plane? That really is the second. Third, everything to do with, if we are securing the data, we need to understand the privilege owners because they generally have privilege actions, entitlements associated with them. And the last, probably the most favorite, is everything to do with a foundational business process for identity and security teams, everything to do with access reviews, access certification, access onboarding, access granting, access provisioning. That entire workflow is really the 4th use case we were focused on. So with that, thanks very much. Enjoyed it. Thank you, Teju.
And stay tuned for more videos.